Okay, so many of you guys probably saw the announcement from AMD yesterday on their new second generation Threadripper CPUs, and more specifically one of their processors which boasts a massive 32 core count. Around Computex this year, it's clear that motherboard manufacturers have been expanding the VRM design on their boards to facilitate this huge increase over first gen. The cooler department has also been revamped, with manufacturers having no choice but to move to a dedicated TR4 sized cold plate for their new Threadripper coolers. But before we take a look at this oddly named offering from Deepcool or Gamerstorm, a quick word from MSI for making this trip possible. Game without compromise thanks to MSI and Intel. For a limited time, purchase any selected MSI Intel-based motherboards and gaming desktops and get a free game pack worth up to $180. With titles such as Warhammer Vermintide 2 and X-Morph on offer, you can't go wrong. Check out the description below to learn more. Okay, so one cooler that caught my eye was this one from Gamerstorm, which they're calling FRYZEN. And yes, you heard that correctly, FRYZEN is the new Threadripper cooler from Gamerstorm. So Gamerstorm are owned by Deepcool, so the name may be a bit more familiar than it seems, and their booth here at Computex included a few new power supplies and coolers which are said to be released around July this year. Okay, now back to that cooler then. I asked Gamerstorm why they decided to name their new cooler this, as it's not the most encouraging title for a cooler and sounds more like a meme if anything. They said they thought the name was interesting, so they just ran with it. At the very least, it does have the full Threadripper sized cold plate, which they said was a mirrored copper finish, and we're also looking at 6 heat pipes extending into the fin stack. RGB, as you know, has been added to almost every product here at Computex, so Gamerstorm added an Aura Sync compatible X design which allows up to 16.8 million colors and 36 different modes. Overall, the lighting looks pretty even and well lit, nothing too bright, and the colors are fairly good. It's by no means a small cooler, but only a single fan comes packed with it, which may be a bit risky given AMD's new 32 core CPU. In terms of a release date, we're looking at July this year with an MSRP of around $90 US, so it does have to compete with the likes of a Noctua and Be Quiet with their new models. Moving on, they also have a new line of liquid AIOs named their Castle RGB series, which they've also got a patented illumination design for. And the big thing that sticks out here on this one, literally, is the size of the casing around the pump. It extends pretty tall, but the benefit of this is that it does result in one of the better RGB illuminations that I've seen for a pump block. These won't be using an Acertec pump like some of the more popular AIOs out there due to some patent clashing, but Gamerstorm did say that it was similar, so cooling results should be fairly interesting. And in terms of support, it supports pretty much all Intel sockets and a range of AMD ones as well, including Threadripper, but you'll probably want to stick to a larger cold plate model for that. The LEDs on the inside of the cover are hidden behind the logo, which creates a bit of a floating effect, and overall the lighting seemed pretty nice and even. The illumination on the fans looked pretty even as well, and both the pump block and the fans are Aura Sync compatible for those with ASUS boards. We're looking at a July release date for this series as well, which will be offered in both a 240 and 280mm variant, and pricing seems to be fairly reasonable at $109 and $129 US. Aside from that, they also showed off their new range of power supplies, which I believe they said they had another patent for, and this one was for the double fan blade design, which they said allows for more air to be moved at a lower RPM. They come in both black and white by the looks of things, and are offered in 500 watt, 650 watt and 850 watt variants. Overall, nothing super new about these ones. They're pretty similar to what's already on the market, but nonetheless they should be decent quality with 100% Japanese 105C rated caps, and I think the white model may be of interest for those going for a certain theme for their builds. So let me know what you guys think of the new FRYZEN cooler from Gamerstorm and whether you'd pick this up over some other options. As I said, the RGB is very nice, but it does really need to compete on a performance level with the likes of Noctua, Be Quiet and CryoRig. At the end of the day, that's pretty much all that matters. Don't forget to subscribe for more Computex videos coming up later today, and I will see you all in the next one.